Thanks for clicking on Total Harmonic Distortion channel. Today we're going to take a second look at the Strymon BigSky reverb. I bought a new guitar and I need to sell a couple pedals to make the money so it all fits in the budget. But anyways, let's get to it. Alright, I'm just going to use the free version for this. Feel free to use this for your own channel or whatever. It really doesn't matter to me. It's all subscriber based, so the more subscribers I get, the better the support. First, we're going to take a look at the noise floor. My loopback channel is in gray, which is basically the noise floor of my audio interface itself. And green is basically the noise of the device under test. So this is the Strymon itself. Let's kick this up to a higher sampling rate because it reveals the same problem I see in a lot of pedals. I think this is caused by a jittery clock. When the clock jitters, it causes noise in high frequencies. It's just the way the math works. Another way to take a look at this noise is using the sine tab. While this tab basically does an average of several FFTs over time, the sine tab doesn't do that. It just basically does a new FFT each and every time. Well, you can't really see anything here. You can go grab here, drag on the bar until we get to the noise down here. And you see it's a lot more jittery because this is doing a new FFT like every 30 times a second apparently. So yeah, this is the output of that. And we'll just take a look to see run a sine in there. Unfortunately, this thing doesn't have a good sampling rate. The sampling rate seems to die at we'll knock out gray because it's just a little too noisy. So purple, 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 purple. And yeah, it seems like around 12 kilohertz we start getting a signal back through. So yeah, it looks to me like this thing has a frequency response of 12 kilohertz. Well, let's verify that with the MLS tab. Alright, we'll turn that off. So if you go to the MLS tab, you can definitely see it only goes up to 12 kilohertz. I should mention, I mixed this just to the only effect. If I put the pass-through on, this is the pass-through channel. Is there a latency there? We'll turn on this to see if there's a latency. So yeah, that's there's no latency. There is a bit of a roll-off on the high frequencies. Okay. When a pedal is not engaged, it has a flat frequency response, but as soon as you turn the pedal on and you have the mix basically to go all direct, that's the frequency response. We turn on the effect only by using the mix, and you can see it goes to 12 kilohertz regardless of the algorithm. It's always at 12 kilohertz. While this thing can sample at 96 kilohertz, 24 bits, and probably does, you can run through a couple of half bands to drop the sampling rate down to a lower rate. In this case, it'd be 24 kilohertz. And that would result in this kind of a plot. You can still see that noise being reflected a little bit by one of the half bands. At least that's what I think that is. That's just basically this noise in the noise floor here being reflected back. Finally, let's take a look at the latency of this device. Latency can be measured here. It shows the latency. The gray is always the loopback channel, and it's measuring 6.25 milliseconds of latency, and that's the latency of my audio interface itself. Now, if you look at the latency for green, it's looking quite high, but that's because it's running a delay algorithm. So let's turn off the delay algorithm, and let's see what happens. I'll keep that up. On pass-through, it's an analog pass-through, so there's no latency whatsoever. But there is this nice little thing that does a cab simulator switch on the back, and if I click this a couple of times, it goes to cab simulator mode. And you can see here, this is basically just an IR, or not really an IR, it's just a filter, of a frequency response for a cab sim. And the latency on this particular thing in bypass mode is actually 1.28 milliseconds. So yeah, a lot less latency but this is still a digital pass-through because it has to run the cab sim on it. You turn the cab sim off, it goes back to 0. You get this dip in the frequency still, which is weird. The way they switches between channels is kind of weird because watch, I'll go like that, go like that, it's back there. Now I'll turn on the cab sim and I have to click there before it's on. Now I can click it off, but it doesn't actually go through a pass-through, it goes through a digital pass-through. But it's a pass-through through the codec because it's very little latency. What they're doing here is just kind of weird. Because it won't go down unless I go like this. Now it's all the way up. So that back switch it has an odd behavior, but I don't know. I guess that's not really that big of a deal. But anyways, feel free to download this software and run these tests for yourself. So I guess that's it. Thanks for tuning in. For those interested in seeing the new guitar I bought, we'll switch over to the mobile phone mode. All right. So yeah, I bought this Schecter. It's really nice. I got it used. I got a great price on it. Has a great, nice little fade on it. 7-piece neck, neck through, and all that other stuff. As far as what I'm playing, as far as my amp and stuff like that, I'm using this direct fire preamp, Eventide with clips, and a little Carver amplifier that fits in the rack, and a couple of custom speaker thing. So yeah, I need to sell my Blue Skies because I like this guitar and I'm keeping it. So signing off from the Santa Cruz Redwoods.